Aisha was a 15-year-old girl when she met her future husband. She didn't want him at first. Although he was only 2 years older than her, he was very fat and ugly. So when he came to ask for her hand, she described him everything she didn't like about him and told him she had to refuse him for these reasons. Mohammed, however, loved Aisha very much. He accepted the rejection, but without telling her, he began to work very hard on himself. He lost weight, took care of himself, and made even more money. Aisha found out about it from other people, and she began to think that if he was really doing it for her, then he must love her deeply. And indeed, soon Mohammed came again to ask for her hand, but this time Aisha happily accepted, because now he not only looked the way she wanted, but he really proved his love to her. They got engaged very soon and planned their future, and it took them 5 years to get married. They bought flat, furnishing, have two beautiful children, a girl and a boy. Mohammed's work began to be much better than ever. They had a good financial background, they could buy what they wanted, go on vacation, children could go to a good school, and they were happy among themselves. But just at that moment, Lime slapped Aisha on her face. She just returned from vacation with her parents and she was very tired, so she went to sleep right away with her children. And an hour later, Mohammed came home with his friend, but went to check Aisha if she really slept, and he closed the door on her, and that was why the Aisha woke up, because he hadn't done it before. Something was wrong here. Meanwhile, in another room, Mohammed talked to his friend. Mohammed told him he wants to propose to another girl to marry him. His friend begged him to let her to him, but Mohammed was adamant that he fell in love with her and wanted to marry her as a second wife. Later, when a friend left, Aisha was sitting on her bed waiting for Mohammed. When Mohammed entered the bedroom, Aisha immediately asked him who he was and what they were talking about. Of course, Mohammed had to lie now and told her he was with a friend and they talked normally about common things. Aisha could not afford it anymore and she started to scream. You are such a liar! I heard everything. Divorce me immediately. This Mohammed didn't expect. He also started to scream at her and immediately called her parents at 3 a.m. to come for her, or he will not hold himself anymore and will slap her. Her parents came immediately and wanted to know what happened, but Aisha didn't speak to them. She kept herself in silence. Mohammed packed his belongings that night and left the house. After a few days, Aisha and her friend figured out who the girl was. Respectively, Aisha knew that Mohammed was working with a girl also named Aisha, and she thought it was her. She had her number, she called her and pretended to be Mohammed's sister. Aisha explained that Mohammed had told her as his sister that he wanted to marry her, so Aisha wanted to know if she also accepted to marry him. The second Aisha, however, told her that she had misinformation, that Mohammed would not marry her but her friend Gheda. Aisha was so sad from this information, because Mohammed had already asked Gheda to marry him long time ago. Aisha called Mohammed that she wants divorce, and if he would not divorce her, so she would announce the news to his parents, and especially to his father. Mohammed has a great respect of his father. He also knew that what he did his father would never agree with, but he also didn't want to get divorced. Aisha, however, insisted on divorce, but she gave him some time to think. The next week passed, and Mohammed began to realize what he actually did, how much he missed Aisha. Now, when he was without her, he sent her various presents and sent strangers to tell her that he was very sorry and feel so sorry. But Aisha was annoyed by it even more, and she called Mohammed again for divorce. From our point of view, this situation has no solution. But I think that in this situation, God has truly intervened, because they are both patient believers and find comfort in a prayer. God opened their hearts again and awakened the initial love in them. Aisha finally decided to forgive him, but not for the children, but for herself. She didn't want to throw away the years together because of one mistake which Mohammed made. Mohammed sincerely regretted it, and eventually came to Aisha with apologies, kneeling in front of her with gifts, flowers, gold, and sweets, and realized how a huge mistake he had made and what he could lose. Mohammed interrupted everything with the other girl, and still doesn't understand what happened to him back. So I guess it sometimes happens that in your life you go off your right path, but it's important to go back. Mohammed and Aisha today have a happy marriage, and mainly because Aisha forgave her husband. Thank you for listening.